And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. I'm right on time, actually. Wow. Chainsaw Man Day. How's it going, everyone? How's it going? Love your cyberpunk reaction, mate. Hey, the best so far, says Recto Man. Thank you. Alex says, let's go! Let's go indeed. So, episode 1 was really good. I have rewatched that episode I don't know how many times. I've rewatched it on my own, I rewatched it with some friends, I rewatched it from other people's reactions. It's a really good episode. I can understand some criticism that people have for the first episode, mostly being like, the first episode doesn't feel like Chainsaw Man, which you know what, I get it, I get it. I personally loved the first episode, by the way, but I can understand some people's like feeling towards episode 1 being, you know, not what they were expecting. I did mention in my first episode discussion, right? Episode 1 was what I wanted, but it's not the episode that I was expecting. But either way, I was really glad with what I got with episode 1. I think they did an excellent job. I think in terms of like the direction was phenomenal. The cinematography was on point. And what the first episode really did was set the tone right in terms of like the slow, somber atmosphere that Chainsaw Man has, and also a lot of its mature aspects. I don't think we're gonna be seeing a lot of that in the future when more of the crazy antics come into play later on, but episode 1 does serve as a reminder that when these slow moments happen, it's gonna hit hard, right? At least that is what episode 1 is assuring me, because the best parts of Chainsaw Man to me is not the action. Personally, the best part of Chainsaw Man is the more slower moments, right? The character to character interaction, the parts when people are just sitting and talking, right? Those to me are the best parts of Chainsaw Man, because it establishes character, it establishes development, and it's just good writing from Fujimoto in general. So in that regard, I am just glad that that aspect has been, you know, perfectly captured by the first episode. Now, later episodes, and maybe in this, yeah, I'm assuming this episode and in like future episodes, when the comedy kicks in, when the antics kicks in, when the more colorful, I cannot speak today, the colorful moments, right? And when I say colorful, I mean more like the acid trip of Chainsaw Man kicks in. That's the part that I'm really interested in, because we haven't seen that yet, technically speaking, right? So, hope you guys have the your episode 2 up and ready to go. I'm also going to be showing the subtitles, because I didn't show the subtitles in episode 1. I should have shown the subtitles in episode 1 in hindsight. You know, that's my bad. But so I'm gonna be showing the subtitles in episode 2 and moving forward. And as always, I'm gonna be using a timer-based reaction for this. If you want to watch the full uncut and edited version where the actual episode is on the screen, it will be up, but not right now. It's gonna be up maybe tomorrow or in a couple of hours. Obviously, I need to edit that in first, right? But anyways, let's actually get started. I am really excited for episode 2. I haven't seen anything. I haven't even seen the previews. I know Studio Mappa has released like a preview for episode 2. I know the new ED has also been released on the channel. I have not seen any of that, so I'm completely blind in that regard. I don't know when or where this episode is going to end, but I have a feeling maybe maybe chapter 4 or 5 is when they're probably gonna end this, because episode 1 primarily focusing on chapter 1. That's perfectly fine. That's pretty much like the perfect way to start Chainsaw Man. Episode 2, 3, 4, 5 onwards, that's when the pacing kicks in, right? That's when the pacing goes full on, you know, super lightning fast. So let's see. Pacing is also one thing that I'm really looking forward to, and I really want to see like how they're gonna handle it, right? Plus it's also gonna give like a good indication of when this core is gonna end. So yeah, in that regard, I am also really excited for episode 2. Okay then, hope you guys have your episode ready. Again, I'm gonna be using a Timer. There's gonna be a 5-second countdown that I'm gonna start pretty soon. Just giving you guys just a few more seconds to prepare the second episode. Let's see. Cyber Joker says, just finished watching episode 2. I am here for the reaction. Yeah, I am here for my reaction as well. Episode 2 was perfect, says Naveen. Great. Ushio back at it again. Oh yeah. I haven't talked about that yet, actually. Yeah. Kensuke Ushio's soundtrack to me has been really, really good. I know for some people it was underwhelming, especially in episode 1, because, there was a lack of music in episode 1, but I feel like the lack of music actually enhances more of the more quieter moments of the scenes, right, of the episode. And Kensuke Ushio definitely knows when to use his soundtracks and what kind of soundtrack he is using, right? When it's more of an ambient, when it's more just for atmosphere, right? To just further help the scene and not overpower it. But when it does want to overpower the scene, right? When in episode 1, like when Denji finally, reveals himself and the music goes dun 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 dun, like see, that's great. So I'm also really looking forward to Ushio's soundtrack. Alright then, I think that is enough for my rambling for the intro. Gonna be watching the episode, gonna react to it. After the reaction, I'm gonna be giving you my review, my thoughts, my initial impressions of the episode, spoiler free as always, as usual, right? If you're an anime only, you're watching this, don't worry, I'm not gonna be spoiling anything, and I hope the chat is also not gonna be spoiling anything. So far, my chat has been really, really well behaved, and I really appreciate it. And I don't even see any barking or woofings in the first episode, which astonishes me. You guys are great. You guys are not cringe. Really warms my heart. But after that, maybe we're gonna break down the episode. Maybe we're gonna look at the animation. Probably gonna breaking down some scenes if there is one. Maybe the ED will give us a lot of good stuff. I don't know. I broke down the opening in my first episode reaction, even though I don't think my breakdown of that opening wasn't really the best breakdown, because clearly there's still a lot of stuff that I missed, and clearly there's a lot of stuff that I do want to talk about more, but anyways. I think that's it. That is enough for me. Right, so episode 1. I'm gonna start the let me just turn off the music. Let's get right into it. Right then. Not episode 1, episode 2. I'm gonna start the countdown. 5 seconds. Once the countdown hits 0, we all press play together, and we should all be in sync. Almost. Jesus Christ! I almost forgot to actually record this. I also forgot to actually record the episode itself. All right. Everything should be in order, and everything should be good. All right. Hope you guys have your episode ready to go, because we are going to be starting. Hello, Ergo Hash. If you just got here, then I'm just gonna give you like a couple of seconds to get your episode ready. Is there anything else I do want to talk? Oh yeah, episode 1 had some CGI stuff that I've seen some like discourse about. I mean, I already gave my own opinions on the CGI of episode 1 on my own discussions. I don't think it's perfect. There's definitely some stuff that I'm like, I mean, they're doing their best. I mean, Studio Map is like putting on a leash, going like, release this right now, and those poor animators, God bless their souls. But overall, I think the CGI was okay, mostly good. Maybe 1 or 2 shots, but mostly good. Doesn't really bother me. It's definitely not as bad as like let's say Attack on Titan, for example. That was especially that final season part 1 stuff. That was some discourse. All right, everybody seemed to be ready. Right, I'm gonna start the 5-second countdown. You should all have your episode ready, and here we go. All right. Starting the car. Whoa. Makima's eyes. Look at how happy my boy is. Wow, they perfectly captures Makima's like whole emotion in that moment. Hmm. Again, the atmosphere, color tone. Giving him comfort, giving him basically everything he wanted. Really love how they're really capturing like the different emotions of Makima in that scene in the car, right? When she was looking outside, she wasn't really emoting that much, right? But when she was talking to Denji, though, there's clearly like that feeling of like, how do I want to say this? Pleasure. There's a feeling of pleasure talking to Denji, right? Like she's smiling, she's somewhat happy, right? I love that it spells out Chainsaw Man there. Yeah, so I have seen all of the references for this. Some references I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much an obvious one-to-one recreation. Other references I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch, but okay. Like the Evangelion reference, I'm like, I guess, but it's not really a one-to-one shot recreation, so I wasn't really buying it. But you know, oh, I love this mood right now. I always picture this in the afternoon, but not during evening though. Oh, Denji. But yeah, look at this though. The lighting, the warm light, right? The warmth of it, right? This is what Denji is feeling right now. Wow. Good job. Good job. The people in charge of like the lighting for certain scenes really know, like the contextual feelings of the characters. Early morning, not evening. Well, no, early morning when they were in the factory or some source, right? But it was really bright in the morning. They've been on a really long ride, so I would assume this would be like in the evening. But I guess it would also fit in the morning. Nice way of recreating the shot from episode 1 when Denji was looking at Makima. She said breakfast? Okay, I guess I must have missed that. I apologize. Oh, that's an almost one-to-one recreation of the manga panel. That was a good way to show that. Oh, okay. Interesting. Moving directly into this scene. It definitely makes it flow better though, right? Even if there is cut content, which we should all be expecting that, but I do find this to flow better. Ah, that shot. I'll talk about that. Ah, that's our boy. Oh, I'm so happy. Not ominous at all. Painting from the opening. Oh. Yeah, let's just flex our animation team. Right. Yeah, sure. Oh, there's so many. The owner finding the dog and then putting him on a leash. Here we go. Stray dogs should know their places, right? God, it's so cinematic. I love it. Aki's voices. Ooh. And the music kicks in. That's my MC. That's our boy. Oh, Dennis the Menace. Yeah, yeah. Don't ruin this day. This is the best day of my life. Don't fucking ruin it. Yeah, the OST is amazing. Hmm. Yeah, not just my life anymore. It's mine and Pochita's. Oh, this scene is so good. I love how they just keep adding the ding sound effects whenever he fucking. Sound designers, you did a good job. I'm glad I put that in. I'm interested in that photo in on the right. Makima almost doing a Gendo pose. Oh, Makima's entire every scene that has Makima in it just oozes control, right? Like like she is in control of the scene. She is their master, right? She is the leader. She commands the scene. Love it. Hmm. Acts of kindness. Oh my god. Here it is. Here it is. Perfect. Yeah, yeah, this episode is perfect. He used up all the fucking toilet paper. Ah, that was great. Showing Denji just living in the moment, just having fun. Look at this. Working together with the police. Yeah, you just realized that, Hayakawa, right? Learning more and more about Denji every day. Oh, Ushio. Commanding him, controlling him. I wonder how anime onlys are gonna feel about Aki Hayakawa and his character, especially from this episode. I can't get over his voice. It's so perfect. I just love this dynamic so much. Like both characters have their own reasonings for the actions that they do. And the more they do those actions, the more they realize and the more they understand the other. Of course. Very serious. But are you though, Denji? Are you actually living the dream? How can you be living a dream when you're being quote unquote imprisoned? Right? You're not free per se. Perfect. And the music too. Wow. 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 It's not the vibe that I was um it's not the same experience that I had with the manga. It's a totally different experience and I'm loving it. With the boobs right right in the background. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're getting. Oh my god, we're getting. Yes. Yes. Perfection. Perfection. The music is fucking spot on too. Oh, the music perfectly captures power too. Like there's a sense of like childish like stuff in it, but there's also like this really serious moment as well. So good. Okay, we have all the gang. Great. Great. Introduce Denji in the first episode. Introduce the rest of the main cast in the second episode. Yeah, yeah, perfect, perfect. Power looking at the cat. Is this the same place? Oh, wait, is this the same place when? Mm, Chainsaw Man Part 2, Chapter 10 something something. You know what I'm talking about. If it is, then that is sick. Music from the trailer. Clean transition there. Great, great. Wow. Yeah. Mm. I can't believe people. Nah, I'm gonna hold that thought for the. Oh, Zutamayo. Showing each character's like personality. Ah, woo! The upside down world, just like in episode 1. Okay, what was it that I want to? God damn it, the was so good. I forgot my train of thought. Hang on, hang on. Um, mm, oh yeah. So I can't believe there are some people, right? I cannot believe there were some people when episode 1 aired and they said, nah, man, Studio Mappa, this isn't Chainsaw Man. They didn't capture the essence and feeling of Chainsaw Man, bro. This is gonna be a terrible adaptation, bro. It's not gonna capture the feeling of Fujimoto's art style and paneling and the manga. Yeah, this episode is great. This episode is great. It perfectly establishes the kind of shift in tonal in tone that I was talking about in the beginning of the stream, right? Where later on there's gonna be a lot more not necessarily comedic, but a lot of fun moments, right? This is one of them. This was also one of them. Weirdly enough, the comedic moment that I thought was gonna get a laugh from me wasn't really all that comedic to me. It was actually a lot more nuanced and a lot more serious, which, you know what? Hey, props to them. Like, I'm talking about, like, this scene, but, like, hey, I was expecting to burst out laughing, but no. It was actually a lot more personal than I thought it would. I guess given in context when I was first reading the manga, and I feel like what a lot of people were when they were reading the manga, like when this scene happens, they were like, haha, funny guy, right? That was now that I know like future events and Denji's like own personal character, like more like I know him a lot more than most people would, right? At this point, right? Especially if you're an anime only. I have a feeling anime onlys are gonna have a lot of a lot of fun with this episode. But again, um, yeah, great second episode. Great second episode. I think the direction once again was spot on. I'll talk about the part that they actually cut, right? Which was in this moment, and I don't think this is gonna be a manga spoiler because there's no way they're gonna incorporate that again in future events. Like that's just no way. So for anime onlys, what I'm about to say is perfectly fine. It's just content that was cut from the manga, and you're never gonna see it again in the anime. But during this moment, Denji will eventually. Well, I mean that moment does introduce the it introduces a question that I feel like is kind of integral to the plot, but the overall scene of that moment is kind of unnecessary. If I am thinking about it right, basically Denji finds a devil right during the scene. Like Denji was walking away. If memory corrects me, right? Denji was walking away. Or like there was somebody asking like for help. Denji notices that then Denji goes out and look for something. He finds a kid with a devil, right, reminding him of his relationship with Pochita. Turns out the kid is actually a devil, and during this encounter, the devil kind of like gives him like, "Hey, why don't we just run away?" No. Denji was the one who asked you who told them like, "Hey, why don't we just run away?" Right? But in more hindsight, it does kind of betray and it does kind of contradict Denji's own personal opinion at the time because like right now Denji just got saved by Makima, right? Right now Denji just wants to be with her. Denji, you know, he just got the dream that he wanted, right? So for him to say let's run away this early on in the show, yeah. You know what? Yeah. It's a good choice to just remove that and just to continue with the with the meeting with Aki, Hayakawa, and Power, and just coming into the investigation bureau. Sorry, public safety bureau. It flows better. Sorry, it flows better. I think the pacing for this episode definitely faster than the previous episode. But I don't think it is necessarily like off-putting, right? I think this is the perfect amount of pacing, right? We introduce Aki in the first half, and then we introduce Power in not really in the second half, more like the last 5 minutes of this episode, which perfectly, I guess, it perfectly leaves you with wanting more for the for the third episode. So yeah, overall, really great episode. Just really great episode. Still showing like how still showing like great direction, great shot compositions all throughout, and just great background art too. Like, my god, like the background art just helps the overall tone of the scenes like just perfectly. Like just this like the little accent of like the warm color tones, right? The warm orange, teal, not teal, just like orange yellow of the scene, right? Denji is feeling warm. He is feeling comfortable with Makima, and that is the point of this scene. That is the point of this moment, and that is why the lighting is that way, because that's just how color theory works. Um, how many chapters in this episode? So 2, 3, 4, 5. It was between 4 and 5 chapters. Yeah, like 4 or 5 chapters. I don't really, I don't know exactly, but definitely between 4 and 5 chapters. All right, I'm gonna read some of your comments. There are a couple of shots that I do want to talk about though, in terms of um, in terms of like symbolism, like specifically somewhere, specifically this. But I'm gonna read some of your comments first. Um, Good Galeji says the subtitles were a bit different at times, like the power running to attack the devil instead of saying it's battle time, battle time. She said something else. I'm guessing it's some translation issue. Yeah, I mean, the Chainsaw Man manga itself has like a lot of translation issues. Let's like of like the official Viz translation, and like there's that version which I don't think is like the best version, because clearly there's a lot of like um there's a lot of liberties in that in the translation for that version. And then there's also the fan translation, which also I mean we don't really know what they're actually saying. Sometimes it's just plain bad translation, sometimes it's not. Having seen the anime and like these 2 episodes, I kind of like the subtitles for the anime a lot more than the manga. The manga definitely feels a lot more childish to me. Like I remember, I think it was like in the first chapter when Denji was like fighting the monsters. Sorry, the zombies. Denji was shouting like, "I'm gonna murderize you," and I'm like, I mean, I get it, it's Denji, but like, really murderize you? Like you can't choose like a better word? So the subtitles for the anime, I think, are like, miles better than the translation that that I was reading with the manga, at least the official version. Um, and as always, there's always going to be there's always going to be like changes in translation as well. Yep, that's how adaptations works. Mm, Ergo Hash says, I love how the whole vibe and atmosphere is very urban. Yes, I really love that as well. Like Chainsaw Man is a story set in a city, right? Predominantly in a city. In fact, almost the entirety of like the first arc is set in a city. And it definitely captures that feeling really well. The problem with capturing a cityscape, right? A city setting, is that it can easily be what's the word I'm looking for? Empty. It can easily feel empty. It can easily feel not lived in, and just from these scenes alone, right? All of these background characters, it just makes the city bustling, right? When you look at Tokyo, when you imagine Tokyo, you imagine a city that is bustling with people. You also imagine a city that is also filled with in the like in the middle of the buildings, in the midst, in the cracks of things. There's usually gonna be like trash, dirt, the undesirables, right? Also capturing that perfectly here. Yeah, I talked about the atmosphere really being really great in the first episode. Second episode also really great. Really, really great as well. Um, Cyber Joker says, "You think 97 chapters could be done in 12 episodes? Absolutely not. No. We're like, we have like 10 episodes left. There's no way. No. No. just no. 30 episodes maybe. 24 to 30 episodes maybe with this current pacing, but 12 episodes, nah. First 40 chapters? Yeah. 30. I heard a lot of people are saying like chapter 39 would be like the perfect place to end the first score of Chainsaw Man, and I totally agree, by the way. Not just from like pacing wise, but also like narratively wise, without spoiling things, but chapter 39 I feel like ends in a very perfect way to end like an entire arc in this case, an entire season, right? Without feeling like, I don't know. It ends it in a way that feels satisfactory as like a season ending, right? Instead of just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna cut this episode and it doesn't feel like an ending, and it just feels like we just end like halfway through a story, like it doesn't feel that way. Chapter 39 just it just ends perfectly because it there's a lot of stuff that is being set up in these first couple of episodes, obviously, and then we have like the second act of season 1, which will be like the meat of things. Final chapter 39 just basically wraps all of those things up while also presenting new stuff for like future events. So yeah, I do feel like chapter 39 would be like the perfect place to end season 1 with 12 episodes. And with the current pacing, yeah, I can totally see them ending with chapter 39. Heard there was a lot of fights in the last crazy amount of chapters, so they could be speed up. Yeah. I mean, they can absolutely do that, or they can also do what they did with episode 1. Episode 1 was only one chapter, and that chapter, technically speaking, was like around 50-ish pages, which is roughly just 2 chapters, right? A single chapter of Chainsaw Man is like 20 pages. Chapter 1, which was the entirety of episode 1, was around 50 pages. This episode 2, is about 4 or 5 chapters. So it's like double the amount of episode 1, technically speaking. And episode 1 has a lot of moments that they just expanded upon. They just make those moments longer. They added a lot more stuff. The fight in episode 1 was just like only a couple of pages in the manga, and those pages are mostly like big spreadsheets, like just one single pager. That's pretty much it. They really extended the fight in episode 1. So I can see some fights being really fast, but I can also see some fights being like extremely long, and they can just go over the top with the animation, which, I don't mind. Fights in anime can be a tricky one because sometimes you can have like a really short fight and then that'll just have people wanting more. But when you have a really long fight, you have to keep a balance between like the fight and like dialogue. Because if there's one thing that I really hate about anime is that whenever there's a fight scene and then half the episode is just them talking. Like, why are you talking? Just fight. Like you don't stop and you don't stop mid-fight to explain like your battle moves. Like, oh, he's gonna go there, he's gonna go there, that way he's gonna go there. And thus I need to make this power and this power is going to negate that power, but that power is going to negate this power, and that's why we're gonna use this plan to go that plan, and like just let the fight tell the story itself. And I feel like Chainsaw Man does a pretty good job in the manga in terms of that. There's a lot of fights, yes, but there's not a lot of talking. It's just straight up. Oh, you want to fight? Let's just fight. You want some explanation on the fight? We're not gonna slow down the fight. We're just gonna continue the fight. We'll explain on the way. That's just how Chainsaw Man works. That's just how the pacing of Chainsaw Man is just bonkers at times. So I'm kind of glad that the anime kind of tones down that pacing while also keeping like a steady pace. So yeah, pacing wise, episode 2 really great. Episode 1 solid. I don't think people should be worried in terms of like pacing, because these 2 episodes have been really great. What was that scene that I was about to talk about? Yeah, here. Obviously, I cannot see this photograph on the right. I really want to zoom in on that, but nah. They're obscuring it for a reason. We're probably not gonna see it. Um, yeah, sure. Let's just have this painting right there in the back. You know, this the same painting that we saw in the opening. Yeah, not ominous at all. um, yeah, not ominous at all. But this entire scene, and Fujimoto does this a lot in the manga in terms of like paneling. Um, let me see if I can find like the actual correct term for this. Fuck. They use a lot of lines, right? In this case, it's the windows. Let me see if I can. This could actually take a while. Give me a moment. This this is gonna be worth it. Um, vertical, diagonal. Basically, I'm looking at like some patterns and lines in photography and in shot compositions and their symbolism and their purpose in shots in general. Basically, and what I'm about to explain isn't really exactly the correct explanation, but I'll try my best to explain it. Basically, the windows, the window frames in the back signifies uniformity. It defines like a singular pattern, a singular pattern. In this case, there's a form of control within the scene, within the shot composition. It's not fragmented. It's not jagged. It's not a mess. It is a controlled. It's a controlled pattern, right? Um, and these types of shots and these types of patterns, they really, really, it's gonna drive me insane because there is an article about this. I'm just having trouble finding it. But you get what I mean. You get what I mean. And just looking at the shot compositions, and also notice how this specific shot is symmetrical. It is symmetrical. Makima is in the middle, right? You have the table, right? Also symmetrical. You have the window frames, also symmetrical. Everything is a box. Everything is a box. The windows are a box. The table is a box. There's also a box in, like, down below. The floor is also a box. Everything is a box. It is a rectangular shape. It is imprisoning. It is a shape that is keeping our characters at bay. Look at the floors. Look at how this building is architecturally designed. Boxes, patterns, and all of those patterns the same. It is uniform. It is all the same. There is no sense of freedom. There is no sense of creativity. There is no sense of individuality. No, it is all the same. It is all controlled. Everything is by design. From the moment Denji enters this place, he is imprisoned. He cannot escape. This is not a place where individuality reigns. No. Everything needs to be uniform. Everything is symmetrical. Everything feels perfect. Walks into the elevator, once again being confined. Welcome to your new life. You are not a free man. Even the lights, boxes. And the scene ends so perfectly with Makima just tying his tie, right? As she puts him on a leash. Welcome to the club. Oh, it's so fucking good. I love it. So good. So good. So are you saying people are simping for Makima by design? If that is what Fujimoto intends, can't really argue with that. And it is only after Denji left the public safety building, right? When he is with Aki. That's when the uniformity ends, right? They're not in prison anymore. They're outside. They're free. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They beat at it. They go out. Denji hits him right in the nuts. And having Makima always in the center in most of these frames just just. I wonder if there's any Easter eggs or references in this specific moment. Because there's a lot of magazines, right? I would assume. Nah, these are all just porn magazines. But then she says something interesting here. My life's a 10 out of 10, but it feels like something is missing. My life is perfect, but there's something wrong with it, right? There's something imperfect with my perfect life, quote unquote. Denji looks at Aki, he looks at the policeman, he's trying to figure out like what are they after? What is their objective, right? What is their purpose in life? What is my purpose in life? I mean, hey, a man has a dream, right? But it's not like he's proclaiming this in a very um he's not really saying this in a very lighthearted or a fun way, right? You need to put that into like you need to remember that, right? This moment, as funny as it is, isn't really all that funny for Denji himself. There's genuine sadness in his voice when he says, "I want to touch some boobs." Which, on one hand, yes, it works for dark comedy, but in the other hand, you also got to understand like Denji's own character and how he became this way. But he is serious about it, and props and credit where credit is due. If there's one thing that Chainsaw Man stays consistent is that whenever somebody has a goal, they are almost always certain that they want to get to that goal. And Denji is just right up there on that list. Oh, this scene is so good. Power's introduction is just perfect. What, the music that plays as well? Oh, I love the split frame of the dude just talking in the telephone and then just huh? that's a finger or a toenail. Nah, this entire moment is just perfection. I love how they perfectly captures this entire segment from the manga. Like this is just straight up from the manga. I love it. And I love their use of color as well. Just mmm. Mmm. And then we get the ED. I don't think the ED is visually as worthy to break down as the OP. But I will say we start the ED with, the heartbeat. As usual, as always. A friendly reminder. Denji being in the dumps. From where he is. His umbrella broken, battered, filled with holes. Yeah. He decides, you know what, I don't think it's worth it. I'm just gonna read. And just goes back to sleeping in the trash bag, right? Party size. Got a tambourine, we got him some karaoke. For Power, interesting. I guess that's because Power is in a karaoke place, I would assume. Power notices something. She goes outside. Cuts to Aki. Very monotonous. Nothing in his room. Just empty spaces. Very bleak. Then we have Makima. Putting tea. Sorry, not putting tea. Putting sugar into tea. Right? Changing something that tastes sour into something that tastes sweet. Right? Zooms into her eye. The domino effect. And Denji falls. Power comes in. And everybody goes to Denji. Everybody realizes that Denji was feeling down in the dumps. Literally, they all come in and they all try to cheer him up. The sun shines. Brand new day. Just a rock. Overall, another great episode. Episode 2. If people were concerned about Chainsaw Man not being like an adaptation that perfectly captures the feeling of the manga from like episode 1, episode 2 should change that opinion. Like if people have any doubts for this adaptation, I think episode 2 basically says, yeah, we understand the material. We understand the homework that we are about to do. Okay. Relax. wondering how casual viewers will see Chainsaw Man as a series with the whole dog and boobs thing. So here's what. Well, I mean, obviously, I have to see like anime only's reaction to episode 2, obviously. But here's what I would personally think of, right? I would think people, and I would hope people will see that and they're gonna go, "Oh, this is very weird," but due to the tone and the direction of the show so far, they're going to understand that this is way more mature than, you know, your average shonen, for example, right? At least that's what I'm hoping for. Because for us manga readers, we don't, and I don't know if this applies to a lot of people as well, but for me personally, I don't really see Chainsaw Man as a mature story until like later on when a bunch of stuff happens. And that's when I realize, and that's when I see, oh, wait a minute, there's a lot of like underlying thematic elements behind all of this. It is a lot more mature than I thought it would. And that whole change of perspective of the story definitely helps me appreciate the story a lot more, and it definitely made me appreciate the beginning parts of Chainsaw Man a lot more as well. Although I will say the beginning parts of Chainsaw Man, at least in terms of, you know, in the manga, didn't really convey that feeling as good as the anime, for example. Like in the anime, because of the bleak color palette, because of the music, because of the direction, because of the shot compositions, it does make it feel like this is a very mature show with a lot of dark humor here and there, with a lot of like fun anime jokes here and there, you know, the same old usual and stuff, but it is inherently a very mature show, right? It definitely has a very mature feeling. Anime onlys will probably, you know, be I can see some people being put off by it, but I think most people will see again, and I hope that most people will see it as like, oh, that's just, you know, it's a joke, but it's not really like a joke. You know, it's not really like a haha, here's a funny joke with like cute anime sound effects in the backgrounds going like, oh, huh, you know what I mean? Like sometimes shonen shows will go as far as to change styles to like a chibi style or whatever to further emphasize, hey, this is a funny joke. This is the funny joke. You need to laugh. You need to laugh. Hey, wink. You need to laugh. This is a funny joke. Haha. We even changed the whole art style to make it look funny. We even made it a lot more comedic. We even play like really funny comedic sound effects and really funny comedic music. Laugh. Chainsaw Man isn't like that. Even in the moment when I thought they would, they didn't. They actually go along with, hey, this is a very mature show with a lot of with some jokes here and there and a lot of like really dark and sex humor. But again, it doesn't feel like it's targeting a shonen demographic, even though it is technically a shonen. So overall, great. I don't know what else to say. It's definitely hard for me to actually discuss like the show's overall narrative theme without actually spoiling some stuff. So I'm really withholding a lot of information back. Future episodes, maybe, yeah, because that's when like a lot of stuff happens. But still early on in the episode, within the story, yeah, it's very hard for me to discuss stuff without spoiling some stuff. But anyways, that's pretty much it for Chainsaw Man episode 2. After this, I'm gonna be reading the manga, the latest chapter that just came out today. Tuesdays. For you, it's great because you get more Chainsaw Man. But for me, I'm like, ah, God, I had to stream again. I have to make another video again. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 2. Hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. Hope you guys enjoyed my discussion. If you are a manga reader and you want to see my reactions to the latest chapter of Chainsaw Man, I will have another stream coming up very, very soon. I will see you all there. And until then, I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Take care. Peace.